even though I never announced that I would be making a sequel, they said, where's the sequel, what's the sequel, what's the... And so, again, I decided, okay, I'm gonna do a sequel, even though I didn't know what it was going to be about. And in a way, that's the fun part. It's the fun part and the frustrating part. Because I remember a title of this writing book that says, you and everything that could happen. And with a sequel, with no plan, anything could happen. But then someone mentioned consistency. Someone mentioned, you have to go with the tone of it. Plus, someone mentioned character flaw. Now, think about character flaw. My character, writers will tell you that, or writing instructors will tell you that when you do a lead character, your character has to more or less be on an active stance. They provide the action, they help push the plot forward. But with this book, with Zaturna book, Ada doesn't want to be a superhero. And for the most part, it's like Didi goes, "Nandiyan na yung higanting palaka, tawagin mo na si Shasha." And then Ada goes, "Maghanap ka ng higanting langaw. May trabaho pa ako, may naghintay sa akin na customer." So he is not the typical protagonist. He goes and fights the alien Amazons because as far as he's concerned, sige na nga, walang gagawa nito. Sige, since ako may powers, ako na lang mga leche kayo para makapagtrabaho na ako. O happy na kayo. O sige, magtatrabaho na ako. That's his motivation for fighting crime. In the second book, of course, that changes. His motivation changes. So when you create your character, especially when you're trying to do a series of comic books or if you do a series of fiction books, it is trying to find different objectives for the character, but still eventually staying true to what he or she believes in. I mentioned character flaw before because flaw in the sense that Ada, as a beautician, he's not so social. He's not going to, he's very recluse. His dad abused him. He had abusive lovers, etc., etc., etc. So he'd rather, I'd rather not talk to you. I just want to work, okay? And it's the sidekick that essentially pulls him out of his shell. So, and I find that interesting because the role of the sidekick is supposed to be a supporting thing. But in this case, for this story, apparently the sidekick became more popular than the lead character. And in a way, that was my fault because I didn't make Ada more proactive than he should be. But then that's a reflection of me as a person. I created Ada, like the other characters, to have a part of me so that I know where they're coming from. So Ada got my, social setting, I'm going to be at the side, I'm not going to talk to you, or kind of shy, And then Didi is that side of me that goes, ano ba, halika na, sumama ka na, ganyan. And can be schizophrenic, actually. Right now on Facebook, there's a fan page. I created a fan page for Jean Saturna, and I created a fan page for Queen Feminist Stellar Baru, which is the antagonist, the alien antagonist. So what I do right now is I'm projecting these characters again on Facebook. And of course, they get their share of fans. What's happening right now is they're fighting on Facebook. And Martin knows that very much. They're fighting on Facebook. And for me, as the creator of these two characters, again, it's a very schizo experience because when I'm with Jaja, I have to talk in Tagalog, and I have to be, coy and all that, blah, blah, blah. And when I get to Queen Femina, she's all bitchy, and, she has that world-dominating thing, and then she has lines like, Planetary conquest is so satisfying, but today I decided to do something different. I bought shoes. And then pagdating naman kay Shah sa tour na, Shah has her status update, ano ngayon kung may bawang sapatos? So, one thing, I guess for me, I don't know if this will apply to all authors, but in some way, it would really help for you to be a little more, no, I don't want to encourage insanity here, pero ano yun, yung parang at least you, again, it's taking, again, a strong part of yourself and projecting it into these other people. How much more time do I have? We have all the time. Actually, I don't know what to say anymore. Okay. So again, number one, it's actually that's the only tip I could have right now. It's you give them something they want in a way that they haven't seen before, and at least for literary fiction writers, that may not really apply in a way, because I'm coming from in terms of plot. For maybe, perhaps, correct me if I'm wrong, for the literary fiction writers there it's much more about the words and the styling and how it's the love for words and how they put it together. But for me, I'm coming from as a marketing graduate, from the marketing, trying to sell this. You need people to pick this up if you want to do this again. In my blog, I've put some tips there on how you could actually make your story a little more sellable or a little more marketable to people, and it's really your choice as a creator. Anyway, Q&As after, right? Do we have a Q&A after? Okay, anyway, thank you very much. Hope you learned something.